Happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Hot Mic here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I am the Outlaw once upon a time. John Rocha here, joined as always by the Sneider himself, Jeff Sneider. How are you, Jeff?
Hello, Johnny boy.
Look at that. What's that hat you wearing? That's a cool. Is it a bagel hat? What is that hat?
That's right. That? Boy Chick Bagels. That's nice. Right. Hey, I'm a bagel boy today.
He's a walking NASCAR. I love it. I love it. He's got logos all over him. We got so much to get into, though, Jeff. A lot of big news dropped this week. Certainly, your newsletter has been smoke coming off those fingers, I imagine, dropping a bunch of stuff this week, revealing a bunch of scoops, but also talking about big news like the succession plan for Kathleen Kennedy over there at Star Wars, if they even have one. James Gunn's new updates and shooting some stuff down, also confirming some stuff, and also proposing new things mysteriously as well. We've got some news with Warner Brothers happening as well. We got the Oscars happening this weekend, so maybe we'll get some quick predictions down here. I know you did that on the FYC, but maybe we'll get some stuff coming through us as well. And so much is happening in the world of entertainment. We're going to cover it all here on the Hot Mic. Just a reminder, though, the Streamlabs are right above Jeff's head. And the super chats are open as well. So if you want to have a question, thought, or comment read on the air that we respond to, then please, that's the easiest way to do it is Streamlabs and super chat. So Jeff, do you want to take it slow or do you want to jump right on into this shit? What do you feel?
You know me, John. I like to jump right into it. Forget the foreplay.
Let's do it. We're skipping the playing around with the upper area. We're jumping right into it. Here it is, James Gunn. Look at him looking over there. What are you looking at there, James Gunn? James Gunn gave a bunch of DC updates this week here, talking about basically Pattinson is not the DCU Batman. CLAYFACE has James Watkins as a director. That is confirmed. No full script for the Batman Part 2, and the Penguin Season 2 is in some doubt as well, which is really surprising with some of the stuff that we have heard about that particular project. Also, let's see what else we've got here. Also, there was rumors, there was stories about they're aiming to do 7 projects a year. Swamp Thing is waiting on James Mangold. Waller and the Authority might be shelved, possibly. Sergeant Rock still looking for its lead. He has a mystery project he's working on. Booster Gold showrunner. But also, Jeff, some interesting comments about who's going to play CLAYFACE, who's not playing CLAYFACE, little Daniel Radcliffe situation. So what are your thoughts now, a few days later, after these updates and also his updates this week about Superman and CLAYFACE? What are your thoughts here?
I mean, I think my first thought is people should learn how to read. Are you listening, Emilio? Emilio went to James Gunn himself.
Yes.
The CLAYFACE rumors.
Yeah.
Everyone reported he was in talks. So he's done. He's already cast his CLAYFACE. Yeah. That's what people extrapolated from my report where I said Daniel Radcliffe is one of 2 names that I've heard. One of 2 names that I've heard on a list. Well, I'm glad James Gunn said it's 100% false. You haven't considered Daniel Radcliffe at all. You know what, James? Maybe you should. Maybe you should consider Daniel Radcliffe because Daniel Radcliffe is the one who kept the fucking lights on at Warner Brothers Pictures for the last 15 fucking years. How about that?
It's an excellent point. What is that? Uh-oh.
James Gunn did this. Fire alarm, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. I will burn to the ground. I don't give a shit.
Are you saying this? You're saying this is not. He's saying he's shooting this down, is what you're saying.
There's nothing to shoot down. First of all,
yeah.
Are you fucking serious right now?
I mean, right as we start the show, insane.
People don't know how to cook in their apartments. So you give someone a kitchenette, and they don't know what's going on. They don't know what they can't put in the microwave. They're fucking here.
Apartment life. You gotta love apartment life. Anyway, go ahead.
James Gunn. I love how he's like, well, we haven't even closed the deal with James Watkins, so we haven't even talked about casting. We don't do that here. We wait until deals are closed with directors and then we talk about casting. except for one of the two movies that we've cast, Supergirl, which had an actress before it had a director.
That's true.
So James Gunn, I mean, it's just like everything out of this guy's mouth, I can poke a hole in it. Okay? And it's not because I'm so good. Again, I'm talking with Jamie about this. It's not because we're so good at poking holes in it. Right. It's because he's just so bad at like boxing himself into answers that he does not need to give. Okay? There was absolutely no need to even address the Daniel Radcliffe thing. Okay,
right.
Actions speak louder than words. Cast somebody else.
Yeah,
but like, what happens if you offer it and the next 40 guys pass on it, and you're now at offer number 41, and that's Daniel Radcliffe, and you need Daniel Radcliffe, but now you're on record to say, oh, he's great, but we haven't even thought about, haven't even considered him. You haven't considered him. First of all, this is bullshit. The idea that he hasn't had a conversation about casting, as if James Watkins, like, what is he even going in there to pitch?
Right.
I mean, the script is done. So the idea that they didn't talk about casting, and James isn't like, well, you know, looking back on my career, who do I have a relationship? Who trusts me?
Yeah.
The whole thing is just fucking absurd. Now bring up the I'm gonna reveal the other name that I heard for Clayface.
Well, first let's bring up what he said. So this is what he said. As we confirmed the other deal, we're closing a deal with James to direct because we don't have a director yet. We haven't even started the casting process. Daniel is great, but we certainly haven't talked to or considered him. So this one is 100% false. Jeff, I find that hard to believe because he said in the press conference himself that he has been, he has talked to a lot of people, and just because they talked to him doesn't mean they're going to do it. Now he's saying that they haven't talked to him at all.
It's a name, like, again, guys, if you want to hear this shit, that's what I'm here for. If you don't want to hear it, I'll stop doing it, and we won't get any list stories, because if you haven't noticed, okay, if you have been paying attention to the space for the last so many years, list stories have all but disappeared.
Yeah,
remember, you used to hear about it all the time. So and so is testing for this. This is the list for this role, and it was just about, you know, every major role because it was so competitive. And now you don't hear that stuff anymore. You know why?
Why?
Because all the trades are owned by the same person,
Penske,
okay? And everyone is under the thumb of the studios.
Yes.
So that you don't get list stories anymore. So if you don't want to hear who's in the mix and who they might be looking at, I mean, I laid out a very strong case, but if you don't want to hear that stuff anymore because you just want 100% accurate stuff, I'll stop and you guys can have the trades and then I'll go away. Like, that's what the trades are for. If you just want to read about done deals and who gets cast and shit, read the trades. I'm going to tell you about the process leading up to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's just like the whole fucking, like, the idea that I'm a scammer, Emilio. Are you out of your fucking mind? Do you know how many thousands of words a day I write in that newsletter? I think that issue was 6,000 words. That's in addition to another job that I worked that day. So what am I, like, I've been proven right twice in the last 12 hours.
Yeah.
Sharon Stone, Euphoria, Oscar Nunez, The Office. So exactly what am I scamming? Are you just subscribing for one particular piece of information to find out who's playing Clayface? Like, I just don't get it. I have been right about hundreds, if not thousands, of stories over the course of my career, and I certainly don't need James Gunn to be the fucking arbiter of my credibility, okay? James Gunn should go and focus on making a good fucking movie, okay? Because I'll tell you the other thing. I put out that newsletter the other night where I mentioned that I heard good things about Superman, that things were improving, that the internal cut was improving. You know what? I got a call from my best source after that newsletter. He said, great newsletter tonight. You had one thing wrong.
Ooh.
And that's about Superman, which I continue to hear is terrible.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Like, I can be a nice guy or I can be a fucking asshole. And I've been pretty nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other thing. You have to judge a reporter not only by what they report, by what they don't report.
Right.
James Gunn knows very well what I haven't fucking reported. Just like CAA knows very fucking well what I didn't report this week. And it's like, that's the shit that I want to be judged by too.
Right.
Like, Jeff kept his mouth shut when it mattered.
Yeah.
Okay, Oscar Nunez's fucking return to the office, it does not matter. Like, you're telling me no one's going to know about that until I'm watching Peacock and he pops up in the episode? Bullshit. Come on.
Fair point.
I've been doing this for so fucking long. That's the other insulting thing. Like, I've been writing about DC Studios since James Gunn was directing Marvel movies.
Yeah. Maybe even before.
I mean, that's what I'm getting. I just like everything is so absurd. And Josh Wilding from comicbook.com nailed it, right? I mean, Warner Brothers, DC, they've now done more press conferences and more dog and pony shows than they have released projects.
I thought Josh Wilding did a great job breaking that down, like stripping away all the bullshit and being honest about what's going on here. Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
obviously, it's a false alarm. I'm not burning alive right now. Go on.
Yeah, this is is this what you wanted me to bring up? Or you want to talk about this? Is this what you want to go into, or is this something else?
The other name. Okay, now do these guys look similar? Could these guys be up for roughly the same role?
I think so.
These guys look. This is a pretty similar type. Yeah. That's what I'm getting at. This is the type that I've heard from CLAYFACE. It's going to be an actor who maybe, I don't know, sees everybody making giant comic book movies and needs to be bigger and more, wishes he was more ripped or whatever, and so he injects himself with fucking clay so he can fucking morph into whatever the fuck he wants. I mean, I think this is what it's going. I in that report I said that the person I spoke to had read the script and they said it was like The Substance.
Yeah. But they're talking about a straight horror film, right? A body horror film, and so I think Radcliffe could be fine. I mean, what was the one he did with Kevin Smith, or was it without Kevin Smith?
Built-in genre audience. He's been building for the last decade of B. I mean, he is a B movie genre actor, really.
Yeah.
Important again, homegrown star at Warner Brothers. Important to the future since they're doing Harry Potter. They're going to need his blessing and for him to say blah 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 fucking blah. I mean, Kieran Culkin is another guy. Succession, HBO.
Yeah, he's nominated for an Oscar.
They took him to the next level.
Yeah,
Warner Brothers Discovery. Makes sense that they'd want to invest in him. These are just two fucking names on a list I've heard, and I didn't even mention Kieran because I'm like, if he is going to win the Oscar, is this really what he's going to follow it up with? I didn't know if I necessarily bought that, but again, at the same time, this is a $40 million movie. So they're not breaking the bank in terms of casting. They're not going to spend $20 million on a star.
Yeah.
I mean, you need someone with name value who can actually put butts in seats or get some people excited, but, is only going to cost, I don't know, $5 to $8 million.
Yeah. Even with an Oscar win. Yeah. I mean, I think both. I personally, I'd prefer the Kieran choice over the Daniel Radcliffe choice. I think you're getting a slightly better actor. I think you're getting someone who leans into the comedy of CLAYFACE. If you want to make it a dark comedy, that works really well. So I think that's more the choice if I was going to choose between the two. But I mean, I wouldn't be upset if Radcliffe was the choice. I'm just saying if I was going to choose between the two.
Again, I don't work for DC Studios. Okay. I don't know who's on James Gunn's list.
Yeah.
But I'm not pulling the shit out of my ass. I'm not sitting there making things fucking up.
Yeah.
Someone is texting or someone is calling being like, oh, CLAYFACE, I heard they're looking for, young 30s actor, 30 to 35, and this is the body type, this is the prototype. I mean, it's just like James Gunn, how this fucking works.
Yeah.
The idea that he's going to sit online all day. By the way, people only appeared to ask about that. It's like there are a zillion other questions from my report that anyone with balls could have asked him.
Yeah. The other thing, the thing is fascinating to me is also what you get. Like, people want to worship at this altar, but you got to be honest in the analysis, right? And I think James Gunn, when he's asked a tough question about social media, I'm rarely on social media. I've been trying to write these scripts for 3 years. I don't know anything about DEI. I don't know anything about Trump's America or Superman. They plays blind when it's convenient. And he's right on top of the internet all over again. So to me, this is where I find a disingenuous approach to some of the answers from him, man. Huh?
Super disingenuous.
Yeah.
And not, a lot of people think this in town.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we're going to talk about Star Wars, but I mentioned Steve Asbell as someone, he runs 20th Century Studios.
Yeah.
I guess he was the runner-up for the DC job, and James Gunn just outmaneuvered the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where I was going with that point. I lost it halfway through.
It must be all the smoke. But this is what you see from him, though. But dude, this press conference to me, this was a real clear indication that James Gunn needs to be seen as the point person, the #1 person. Grace
That's
Randolph. Yeah. Grace Randolph said it really well. I watched her coverage of. She said it seems like he took over DC so he could hire himself to do all these roles. And that when she said that, my mind was like, "Oh, son of a bitch."
That was literally the point I was getting at. If Steve Asbell had taken over DC Studios, are we seeing an animated as Steve Asbell in the credits of Creature Commandos?
Are we seeing him on the cover of a Superman comic book?
Exactly. Are we seeing Steve Asbell and his dog? During the Super Bowl, like it's too much. And I get that David Corenswet is an unknown, and that James Gunn is the face of DC, and he may be the most famous thing that they have going for it. But like, this may have been a bad bet after all. I just think that his ego is getting the best of him.
I think there's frustration here. I think he thought he found the secret formula. I think he said, I saw what Kevin did wrong. I know what I'm going to do. Once I get in charge, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And then all of a sudden, all these things you thought were going to work aren't 100% working. He even said, there were writers I hired to write I wish I hadn't hired. Like he in essence said that, which is such a condemnation of writers who would want to come work for James. He's going to out you if he doesn't like your script. It's mind-blowing, dude.
I just like, we're going to have Andy. He's going to be the first person who gets the script, but we're not going to involve him in the development.
Oh,
we're going to keep him at arm's length. I mean, there's a zillion. If I wanted to go deep on this, I could, and it would not turn out well for him. He needs even just like hiring the consultant, right? Ricky Strauss, they brought in today.
Do the marketing,
right? To consult on marketing for Superman. And it's just like, I don't know if it's some kind of a flex, if it's not having faith in the team that's there. I mean, dude, you want to talk about hiring consultants? Hire me. I'll be the consultant and tell you what you should not be doing on social media, because whoever you have right now, it's not working out.
James is not going to listen to you, but I would love for you to get hired, but I don't think
it really is just wild.
Let's bring that up. This is Ricky Strauss. This is who they have hired here. And this is exclusively from The Wrap. Umberto reported this. DC Studios co-chief Peter Safran said, we are leaving no stone unturned when it comes to ensuring that audiences know about and experience our film. Ricky is a 30-year industry veteran whose first project since leaving Apple TV Plus, head of marketing last year after a 16-month stint there. So why do you bring in someone like him, Jeff, if you're confident that your people can handle it? To me, this screams like they're nervous. This feels nervous. You're bringing a heavyweight like this to market Superman?
I already
market itself. You don't need to help. See, it's shocking to me. Yeah,
they are very nervous.
Yeah.
Like again, Josh Wilding, the tweet was right in that it was just like, what was the point of this? It was to admit that things aren't working. That a whole bunch, like, hey, that last time that we all got together and did this, half of that shit is not going to happen. It's like, okay, well, why do we announce it in the first place if we weren't sure it was happening? It was a real head scratcher as to why you would throw that event. And Batman just sounds like such a nightmare. Dude. It sounds like a real power struggle between Gunn and Reeves. I think that Gunn wants his own Batman.
Yeah.
And yet,
what he said,
right? I think he wants his own Batman, but it just doesn't make sense to have two different Batman. This Elseworlds thing, I've already told the folks at DC, and some of them agree. This needs to be killed. This needs to be removed from the vocabulary. No one knows what the fuck you are talking about with Elseworlds. This isn't a fucking thing that most people know.
Right. Most people don't know. The comic book nerds do know it, but yes.
It's just astonishing. With Batman, I think a lot of it has to do with Mickey. I think that they're waiting to see if Mickey 17 performs, which they're not going to. But if it performs, that really is a test of Robert Pattinson, the movie star, in a way that he's never been tested. Don't tell me Twilight, because those are based on best-selling books, and those were going to be hits no matter who they put.
And you had Kristen Stewart carrying the load in that one. Yeah.
This is a real test. Forget Batman. Batman's Batman. But Mickey 17 is a real test of his Pattinson a movie star. Because if he can't get this movie to a certain level of opening, that's where James Gunn goes, look at this guy. He can't get, he can't get a $20 million opening. He's got to be my Batman. No. Then it strengthens his argument.
Right.
So, but I feel like Warner Brothers is doing everything it can to, trying to make that movie into a hit because I think it wants to keep Pattinson around.
Yeah, this is the question I have for you, man. When you look at this situation, and people described it that when he was asked about sharing Robert Pattinson and Batman, they described that he shuddered at the idea of sharing Robert Pattinson. So is it shuddering because it's an ego thing and he doesn't like that Matt Reeves has kind of surpassed him at this point? Or is it the shuddering from maybe the powers that be like Zaslav and other people that are on him saying, you know what, Pattinson looks like we should go in that direction. Maybe even Peter Safran is saying to him like, hey guy, I think we should go with Robert. You got to let it go.
I think it's a tone thing. I just don't think that the Bruce Wayne Batman that Matt Reeves has in his universe is the tone that James Gunn wants. And it's like, can you still have Pattinson, but can you have him doing a different interpretation almost for Gunn?
He wants humor. He wants humor. He wants the Batman to still be Batman, but with a little closer to Adam West Batman than to Robert Pattinson Batman. That's what he wants. He wants a Batman that's still serious, but occasionally makes the jokes, can play into certain things. Brave and Bold certainly had that element. You've got a Clayface that's going to play a little. If you go Kieran, the jokes are going to be baked into there. So I think that's the difference. He wants
so let's say Gunn gets his way, right? And gets his Batman. Does that hurt? Does that potentially hurt Matt Reeves's Batman trilogy? If people are like, oh, well, that's not even the real Batman anymore. This is the new Batman.
No, I tell you where it hurts. If that Batman isn't as well received as Robert Pattinson's Batman, that's where it hurts. Because if people start going like, well, I want Robert Pattinson's Batman. I don't like this Batman. I don't like Brave and the Bold. And he's writing Brave and the Bold with a mystery writer named James Gunn. His mystery writer there that he's writing with this particular thing. And don't tell me he's not going to direct this thing. I bet $1 million. Well, I don't have $1 million, but I would bet $1 million that James Gunn is essentially, him and Safran are essentially weeding Machete out, and he's going to direct this.
I don't get that vibe.
Okay.
I mean, I think that he could very well, whatever he's writing, I think he's writing to direct.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think he would refer to himself in the third person. Like, I don't want to tell you the writer's name because it would put too much pressure on him. I don't think that's the game that he's playing. I think that he is writing.
You think he has a mystery writer? You think he has the writer he's writing this with?
Yes.
Brave and the Bold?
Yes, I think it just has a writer who hasn't been reported.
Okay.
But I think that, God damn, you made me lose the train of thought.
You got to jump in, man. Start writing stuff down. You know how this show goes. You're not new. Brooklyn wants to know where it hurts.
I think that he's writing a project that is going. I think he's going to write a project that unites Batman and Superman, whether that's World's Finest or Society.
Wait. But that's the mystery project. I'm talking about. He said he is very involved with another writer writing.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I think he has a writer. We don't know who it is, but James himself is. If he's not writing Superman 2, is writing a movie that could feature Batman and Superman.
But he's writing Brave and the Bold.
I think that is what his ultimate goal is. And I think that could be part of why he had Zack Snyder up there. I don't know if it was just a photo shoot sort of thing or to show him a new cut of Superman. I think it's to say, hey, man, I want to do Batman versus Superman. I want to do it, the right way.
Right. Whew, man, it's a lot. I don't envy him because, I mean, look, I do think there's good things here. I think the family-oriented stuff I think is great. The animated stuff, I like the energy of that overall. But Jeff, this idea of aiming to do 7 projects a year, do I have to show you do I have to show you Marvel and Star Wars and see how they're doing with their 7 projects a year? It doesn't make sense.
No, what is it? It's 2 movies, 2 live action movies, 2 live action TV shows, 2 animated TV shows, and an animated movie.
Yes.
Yeah. Good. First of all, good luck with that. Second, no, like what?
Yeah. And they're all they're all interconnected if you want them to be, but they're all standalones at the same time. But there'll be Easter eggs for you.
That's another thing.
Come
I
on.
mean, that's what the whole Lanterns thing, right?
Yes, right.
Like that part of it is that Lanterns is going to be an ongoing series. By the way, I'm told it's going to have a season 2.
That's the first picture they dropped. You can see the ring there on Kyle Chandler's hand. But I saw some people pushing back on this picture, Jeff. What do you? I mean, this looks to me like Midnight Run, the sequel. What do you see from this picture? Does this work for you?
I see a TV show that's embarrassed to be a comic book show.
Oh,
I see. Well, let's just do True Detective, and we'll give him a big green ring, and we'll call it, a DC thing. Like,
okay.
To not see these guys in like uniform, I thought that was a weird choice. I mean, it was like I'm not like against the choice. I think it's probably a smart creative choice. If you want like my dad to watch the show or something, for it to even have a chance outside of just the regular comic book crowd, I think them out of uniform, but it just showed me like this is a show that's embarrassed to be what it is.
Yeah. I love this. Guys, listen, Zeno's like, not all those projects are going to be the SU. Stop saying the most basic, logical thing that we already know. Not all but a lot of them are. There's maybe 1 or 2 that won't be. Every 7 projects, there's maybe 1 or 2 that won't be in the DCU. He already connected Creature Commandos. There's very strong possibilities you'll connect all of these things.
I mean, isn't there who is Clayface in Creature Commandos? Isn't it Alan Tudyk?
Yeah, the voice is Alan Tudyk. Yeah.
Well, I thought people who do voices in DC do live action roles too. So I guess Alan Tudyk's already been cast in Clayface the movie. This is what I'm getting at. If you didn't say that, then you wouldn't hear Jeff Sneider being a sarcastic asshole repeating on this podcast right now. So why say it?
Yeah, exactly. And
everyone I Ricky Strauss to consult? Come on. I'll work for a pittance of whatever you're paying Ricky Strauss, and I guarantee it pays off better for you in the long run.
Yeah, but I don't think he's listening to anybody. That's the thing. I don't think he's
listening to every fucking word I say. So, or someone repeats it back to him in an incorrect way.
I mean that he's not going to listen and do what people tell him to do.
Oh,
James is going to go off on his own and do his own thing.
Fucking thing, obviously.
He's running off on check. Now, what do you think about? I don't want to leave the Batman thing without this other side of it. What do you anticipate is going to happen with all of this? Because he is writing Brave and the Bold. Muschietti, as I said months ago, is not going to do this film, and it's clear. But then Safran said Penguin season 2 might even be in question because of I can't remember the name, but like the 800 pounds of makeup there, all of that stuff. Yeah, Colin Farrell. Yeah. So do you think they're going to move this out? They don't even have a finished script for Batman Part 2, and it's supposed to shoot later this year, Jeff.
Do they have a finished script?
They're saying they don't have a finished script, but they've seen what they've seen they've liked, which is a great way to play both sides. So
yeah, exactly. I have no idea. That's the other thing that my sources keep stressing to me is that the Batman Part 2, whatever's going on with Reeves, that's not James Gunn.
Yeah.
It's not his purview. That is a Pam Abdy, Mike DeLuca project, apparently.
Fair point. Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense because it's TV, so I'm like, wouldn't it be Casey Boys? But anyways,
yeah.
I think that DeLuca and Abdy have a lot of say and influence still. I don't know if there's some sort of power thing going on with them and James Gunn.
Yeah.
By the way. And it's like,
oh,
I mean, I'm just like speculating on that.
I didn't think about that.
I think that is entirely possible.
Wow.
Okay. Again, it's like, yeah, I know you're James Gunn and you did 2 Guardians of the Galaxy movies, but like, this is Mike DeLuca, who's been an executive making great movies for like 30 years.
Right.
So, I mean, I just there's a lot going on. And I just don't appreciate when either somebody calls me a scammer because something didn't work out the way, I'm not Nostradamus. Yeah. I can't see into the fucking future.
Who was this person? Who is this Emilio? Who is this?
Emilio!
Where's he at? What's
4 followers, and I don't know why I let people like that get to me.
Yeah, why do you?
It's because he's not alone, and like other people are probably like, oh, fucking Jeff Sneider, grumble.
Yeah, but that's always
don't subscribe. I don't give a shit. I've been proven right a dozen times in the last 2 weeks alone.
It's always from a place of jealousy, though, because they don't do what you can do, and they wish they could, and no one would read their shit if they did.
Cook. That's a great idea, Oscar Toronto. I'm letting Gunn cook, so he can let me cook. He can go over there and cook and focus on cooking, and let me stay out of my fucking kitchen over here.
This idea of let Gunn cook, but he keeps changing the ingredients of the recipe. I mean, sure, you have a right to question if the dish is going to turn out as well as he said it was going to turn out 2 years ago when he keeps changing the ingredients of the recipe. There's a fair point to let him cook, but if he's taken 2 years to cook and then maybe 3 or 4 or 5 till we get the Batman Part 2, if that even happens. So there are questions abound on this situation. Anything else on this that you want? Like, what about the Wonder Woman issue, man? Do you think this is an issue?
Is there an issue?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there was almost no update on Paradise Lost.
He's not doing anything with Wonder Woman. So,
then they canceled the video game. Which a lot of people are upset about.
Like it's just like, what is going on over there? These are your first 4 movies. People couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Chadley, then wait on quality, then sloppy slap. No one's asking you to fucking pay for my newsletter, bro. But I just love like the gall to charge for it. Should I just be giving it away? Is that what you want, Emilio? You want me to give it away? I work hard. I spend hours upon hours on each issue. So you can blow me.
Okay. All right. Slow down. Now, what about this? Do you think the Swamp Thing with Mangold, that's not going to happen, is it? I mean, Mangold's on Star Wars. Well, then again, we don't know what's going to happen with Star Wars. So do you think that Mangold is maybe dragging his feet on this one because he doesn't want to do it? Doesn't want to do it, or what do you think's going on there? Even though he pitched him the project.
I mean, again, I think that personally, James Mangold would rather make a Swamp Thing movie than a Star Wars movie.
Right now?
Yes. Okay. But just because that's what he is, like the movie he'd rather make, doesn't mean that's the movie he's going to make. I do expect him to make Star Wars first.
Yes.
And that is why we're getting a Clayface movie, because Clayface is basically the same thing as Swamp Thing.
That's true. That's a good point. You can make a comparison for sure. What about this Booster Gold situation? Danny McBride is rumored to have been the showrunner here, who eventually got too busy and lost interest, fell out of love with this project and had to pivot. Is that a good sign?
I mean, like how so?
Like, the fact that he's not staying on the project anymore, does that show that he's not that excited about being a part of this anymore? Or is it more a matter of scheduling thing and he had to move on?
No, I mean, I think it's pretty clear. If he didn't want to be part of the project, then he wasn't excited about it.
Right. Yeah.
He was just like, this, I'm sure he gave it a shot and tried to crack it. And it's like, I don't really know if this is for me or what I want to do next. And moved on. I was surprised to hear like that is sort of like stuck and that Waller is stuck, because I thought Waller was gearing up. I think Daniel Rickman had heard the same thing.
Yeah.
I'd heard it was, going to start casting. Didn't really sound like it from that update.
Right.
And again, is all this shit taking so long because Gunn needs to be so involved? And I mean, again, this isn't his strength. This is what drives me crazy. It's like, this dude is a filmmaker.
Yeah.
God put you on the earth to direct movies.
Yeah.
So why are you spending most of your day, from what I can tell, arguing with me on Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay. Or giving notes to other filmmakers who don't want notes from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Direct movies. You're a great director. Go direct movies. Why are you running the studio?
Yeah. And the thing he's hiding behind, the scripts aren't ready. The scripts aren't ready. We're not doing anything until the scripts are ready. These are catchphrases, right? And that's the thing that you kind of go like, oh my God, come on. This at some point it's getting a little tenuous.
Daniel Craig was never playing Sergeant Rock. I don't know where anybody got that idea. Forget all the trade reports. Don't know where that. I mean, again, I think that is because Jeremy, I'd heard pass, it didn't work out or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because all the reports already had Daniel Craig there. So it makes him look like, oh, this is Jeremy Allen White's first big comic book movie role. He wasn't even the first choice.
Right.
And that's probably why Gunn's like, no, of course Daniel Craig wasn't attached. No one's attached. Whoever we cast, they're going to be our top choice.
Right.
Like, dude, I got a bridge to sell you. I don't know what to fucking tell you.
I also
Everyone's rooting for this guy. Everyone wants this guy to work. Everyone was excited by the hire, and little by little, he's just become the bully in the sandbox who people don't like. He's fucking growing on people. Like wearing on them.
Yeah, I agree. If your career doesn't depend on kissing this guy's ass, you can actually see what's going on and taking a look at and be clear-headed about what you're seeing and how he's presenting it. Because I agree with you. I don't know why you do a press conference 2 years later to once again promise a bunch of new projects and then let people know all the projects that weren't working and aren't going to happen, and basically advocate for yourself. Because he said, those were his quotes, I'm very, very, very involved in the creation of these things. I'm very involved in all of this stuff. So he wanted to make it very clear that he is the end all be all of this whole situation. And I see some of you going, well, he wasn't hired to be an executive. You don't see Peter Safran on these sets throwing his weight around like Feige does. It's Gunn. So you can say that he was hired to do one thing, but he's not doing that one thing. He's being much more than that and trying to do all the things. Because you don't hear anything about Peter Safran doing this.
Listen, he can do whatever he wants. And like, I don't fucking give a shit. But it's like, I'm gonna do whatever I want, dude. So I got fucking papers to sell, bro. I got papers to sell. So unless you want to fucking give me a job or consulting gig, fucking PR job, writing your press notes, I'm gonna fucking sell the papers however the fuck I want.
There you go. Yeah, he said, I'm actively involved with every beat of The Brave and the Bold. So like I'm part of the engine that's pushing that across the finish line. So, you hear that very clearly. All right. So anything more to say on this, or shall we move on to the Kathleen Kennedy stuff? All right, we're moving on. And there's 922 of you watching us live. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We appreciate it madly. As Jeff was alluding to, please head on over to theinsnyder.com, sign up to his newsletter, and get more information on the stuff he breaks down. And as for us here, you can subscribe to the channel down below and hit that bell button so you see we're dropping all the content we do and the hot mics that we do here on the channel. Get us to 40,000 subscribers, please, people. All right, let's move on to Kathleen Kennedy. Let's see. This is the other big news of the week, according to Matt Baloney over there at Puck. By the way, I think that's 150 a year for those of you who want to get plugged into what Matt does over there on his news sites. Kathleen Kennedy plans to retire by the end of 2025. An unnamed source said that she was actually planning to leave last year, which I think we alluded to last year, Jeff. I'm told, and had even set up an exit interview with a journalist, but she decided to stay for one more year. CNN said their sources told them that any announcement of Kennedy's retirement, if indeed there's anything to announce, will be made public when actual decisions are made. Jeff, this feels like they got caught with their pants down by Matt Baloney on a Monday night, and we're playing defense the last few days with people throwing out all these things about who could take over. So what are your thoughts? What does your gut tell you? What does your nose tell you in terms of the smell test on this?
I mean, I wrote last November that she was going to be leaving by the end of the year, which is, coinciding with Iger's supposed exit as well.
I remember.
I mean, I thought I wrote a great piece. That was one of the better pieces that I've written in the newsletter, looking at the succession plan and everything. I think that at the end of the day, it's going to be Dave Filoni, which is, what Boris had mentioned, and Jordan as well. But I think it's going to be Carrie Beck alongside him.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's going to be Dave and Carrie.
Isn't this a repeat of DC, though?
How so?
Well, because you've got the creative in Filoni and you've got Carrie as the producer, right? As the executive there.
I mean, yeah. I guess.
Okay.
I think that there's more of an infrastructure at Lucasfilm than there is at DC.
Okay.
I think that, I mean, again, the way that it was explained to me, it was just like, for the past 13 years, the head of Lucasfilm has been more powerful than the head of Disney, who is ostensibly her boss.
Wow.
Right?
Yes.
Can anybody disagree with this?
No.
Kathleen Kennedy was on sets with Steven Spielberg making classics when fucking Bob Iger was giving the weather.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. They want someone they can control in that seat. That is the point of being the boss. That you have people who do what you tell them.
Yeah.
And that is what they were going to do with Lucasfilm. That's why a lot of people push back on a lot of the big names that were thrown out there. Again, Emma Watts is to me a really good executive, but Emma Watts has had an opportunity to be hired a whole bunch of places and nobody hired her. So Lucasfilm, I don't think is going to be the one who hires her. Peter Rice, who is the person who's missing from Hollywood Reporter's story, who Variety then added in their story, and I thought that was a good call. Someone said, "Listen, Peter Rice, they're not going to bring him back. They can't like push him around. You know, Dave Filoni is not going to talk back to Bob Iger." Okay. And the other thing is that no matter who they hire, they're making Dave Filoni shit anyways.
Yeah, his movie, Ahsoka season 2. Just
like he is the creative force. He is the one who comes with George's, stamp of approval. So it's just like, well, why are you bringing in somebody who's then going to just be doing Dave's stuff anyways, right? Like,
Carrie worked with him on Ahsoka.
Right, exactly. And was it Rebels?
Yeah, Rebels, yeah.
So I also think that part of me thinks that Kathleen wants to leave a woman in that post in some way. Because they just spent a decade building a female fan base.
Yes.
You don't just abandon that fan base that you just spent a decade building.
But I think that's why you put
Filoni. Well, this is how they fucking ruined the franchise. They made it a girls' franchise. It should have been a boys' franchise. I don't know that that's necessarily the answer, but I know that just turning it into a boys' franchise is not the answer.
That's what I mean. I feel like so you might be right in the Carrie Beck Filoni thing, because Filoni calms down the anti-woke people who were crying about a woman being in charge of Star Wars, putting women first, hiring people of color, diversity, and all that. That's what Filoni handles. And then you've got Carrie Beck, who's doing the stuff with so essentially he would be the front-facing person, and Carrie would do a lot of stuff behind the scenes to make this all possible. So I see your point. I think I said this a couple days ago. I thought they were going to go with a white man, so it does make sense with Filoni. But Carrie Beck being smart enough to how she was groomed for this role makes sense as well. But Kathleen Kennedy just dropped an interview, brother, 7 minutes ago on Deadline. I don't know if you want to go through it. We can bring it up and see what you think. Or okay, huh?
Didn't even know.
Yeah, let's do it. Hold on. All right, now I'll take the graphic down so people can read it along with us. All right, so this is what her answers are to this stuff. So let's go through it real quick, and I'll make it a little bigger. All right, so we've read. Oh, sorry about that. Let's see. We've read all the speculative reports that you. Where is it? Sorry. That you are out, but that there's a frenzy for the next person who's going to take over Lucasfilm. What is the truth? The truth is, and I want you to say it loud and clear, I'm not retiring. I will never retire from movies. I will die making movies.
Is that what I said?
No.
It is exactly what I said.
Yeah,
I said she's not retiring. She's going to end up producing Sean Levy's Star Wars movie and Kinberg's trilogy. Go on.
Yeah. What's happening at Lucasfilm is I've been talking for quite some time with Bob and Alan about what eventual succession might look like. We have an amazing bench of people here. We have every intention of making an announcement months or a year down the road. We are in lockstep as to what's going to be. And go ahead, say that again.
It's February, so a year.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be a year, but 10 months is the end of the year. It's a long time.
You don't think they'll do an announcement at Celebration?
I think if they could, I think it just could have forced their hand.
Yeah. I
think again, it's tough because yes, she's going to have to face the press, not just Deadline,
right?
Because what debuts in season 2, Andor.
Yeah,
that debuts in April, so she's going to have to face the press. But the problem with it just installing Carrie and Dave then is that they're going to be starting Ahsoka season 2 in April. Right. So it's like not a great time for them to inherit all these new duties.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if she served out through the end of the year.
That makes sense. That's
what did she say? Look at the words. We have an amazing bench of people. Yeah. Where? Somewhere else? No. Here.
No. Here. Internally. and we have every intention of making an announcement months or a year down the road. We're in lockstep as to what's going to be, and I'm continuing. I'm producing Mandalorian, the movie right now, and I'm also producing Sean Levy's movie, which that's not how you spell Sean, but whatever, which is after that. So I'm continuing to stay at Lucasfilm and looking very thoughtfully with Bob and Alan as to who's stepping in. So that is all underway, and we have every right to make that announcement when we want to make it. So clearly, she was pissed that Baloney dropped this thing on Monday for sure. So they definitely were caught with their pants down. And I wonder in the same situation, they wouldn't deny it or confirm it, and Matt just ran with it, you know? Yeah, so this idea, so she's basically confirming the Sean Levy movie, confirming the Mandalorian movie. So that's interesting. Charmin Obey Chinoy, not mentioned here, by the way. That you are looking within seems to give credence to what we've heard, that an exec like Chief Creative Officer Dave Filoni is in a good position, works on Star Wars to write and direct it. I can't say who it is because there's just an internal process that goes on inside a large corporation, public as to how we go about making deals, finalizing, blah, blah, blah. There's nothing unusual about that. We're in that process. This flurry of press coverage, God damn it, this flurry of press coverage, it sounds like chaos. What's the reality? Chaos. There's never been any chaos because we know exactly what the plan is. What is that? So they've had this for a while, Jeff, do you think, since last year when she was thinking of stepping down?
How long have I been talking about it? Again, I mentioned it last November, which means they've been talking about it since at least last summer. I mean, she's saying for the last couple of years. I, again, reported in the newsletter. No one has investigated this. Why? I don't know. But they should ask James Gunn, the one. That's the thing. It's like I love posting a 2,000-word article on Star Wars, a 1,500-word report on DC, and the only question that somehow makes it to James Gunn is, well, is Dan Radcliffe playing fucking Clayface? These fucking morons on the internet, okay?
All right, but let's move. Let's move.
Star Wars.
Yes. She said, we've been talking about it nonstop for the last couple of years because for obvious reasons, I'm not going to be here forever. George asked me 13 years ago.
Hold on, I wasn't done. She went looking for financing for an AI production company, an AI-focused production company last year. Didn't get the financing. That is why she re-upped and stayed another year, because it wasn't the right time to get that money in place.
Okay.
So she's definitely making moves on her own.
Yeah.
And I even named the 3 people who she obviously wants to work with outside of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Pretty easy. Her husband.
Yes. Frank Marshall.
Pal Steven. And David Fincher.
Oh, yeah.
She produced Curious Case of Benjamin Button, which was nominated for how many fucking Oscars?
Yeah. Which I saw again recently, last week. That's a good movie, man. People don't give it enough credit. How far down the road do you expect before a change gets made and then you go off and produce these big 2 Star Wars things? We'll probably make an announcement months or a year out, and I have every intention of sticking around to help that person be successful. So they're probably going to make the announcement at Celebration. I'm already producing the Mandalorian movie. Sean Levy is after that. I recall these same retirement predictions were rendered a while ago, and you re-upped, and here you are. What do you make of this fixation on your job status? I truly don't know. And any discussion, and any discussion previously about me retiring or quitting or any of these things, that's complete rumor mill, because through all these reports, I've just continued doing my job and continuing my contract. Nothing unusual. It all has just been manufactured. That's a lie, right? This manufacturing of this, she's claiming that everybody who reported on this was lying. I mean, manufacturing implies what?
She's admitting that she's stepping down.
Yeah.
She hasn't stepped down yet. As I wrote, as like the kicker to my story, it's business as usual up there.
Yeah.
But yes, there is a plan in place. That plan is going to be put in effect likely by the end of the year.
Yeah. The connotation is you're being pushed aside and either being replaced, though that's not what I've heard, is absolutely not the case. It could not be further from the truth. And everything that we do inside of Lucasfilm is in lockstep and in communication with Disney. We all know what's going on. The communication has been completely collaborative, as you would expect. This is a big piece of business for them, and they want to empower me to help them make that decision and that choice. I am doing that.
I don't know what people's connotations are, because I can't control what people take away or how they perceive a story. Yeah. I think that you could have certainly gotten that connotation from Matt Bellany's story. I think Matt Bellany sensationalizes a lot of things. I think that
he said he was part of the urging of her to get out. Yeah.
I think that's true. I think he wants to be seen as right. And listen, I've done things like that in the past. Yeah. I think that my reporting on Lucasfilm has been the best of anyone in the planet for the last year or two. I think it's been completely fair, completely accurate. I don't know why you even need to read another writer.
Okay. Do you want me to stop?
No, I mean, we can. I mean, this looks like a lot of gobbledygook.
Yeah. This is all. So here the Kinberg. I broke a piece last fall about Simon Kinberg making a deal to write and produce Star. How's that going? We're absolutely rolling fast and furiously. That has gone exceptionally well, and he's literally going to script as we speak. We'll see something probably around June. Simon did some work for us years ago, an animated show. Then he got busy with X-Men, came available again. So that's clearly still in motion. There are spin-offs, and there's the core Star Wars story broken. Is this continuation? This is the next iteration of the new saga that moves us into the future. Oh, and the one by Deadpool Wolverine director Sean Levy that Ryan Gosling was starring. That's also in the future. It's all post the first 9. Sean's is a standalone Star Wars story that'll take place post 9, maybe 5 or 6 years out. And Mandalorian really stands on its own because we're dealing with the old era of the New Republic. We have other development going on in that space as well. So that's where is the Rey movie, Jeff? There is no mention of Charmin Obaid-Chinoy so far, and no mention of the Rey movie.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah, Simon's working on scripts right now with the James Mangold. Yes, he's working on the script right now. Simon's working on scripts right now. Sean, we had been working with him already for about a year and a half. These guys are available now. Jim, he got delayed a bit because of Dylan movie in the award season. You have to accommodate top talent, extension, quality. Any others that I've forgotten? Well, I keep waiting for Taika, and he's working with another writer now. He's so busy, I love him. I think if we ever do a script from Taika, it's going to be fantastic. Already saw first act that I love, but tying him down is tricky. Okay. Yeah, so there's no mention of Charmin Obaid-Chinoy. He literally said, are there any others that I am missing? Am I missing this? I don't see it.
But I don't understand. What is she supposed to do? Go out? No one asked her.
He said, am I missing any other ones? Any that I've forgotten? That's when you chime in and say, well, of course, the Charmin Obaid-Chinoy Ray-directed film. We are absolutely on the project. George Nolfi is wherever he's at on it. She's not saying anything about it.
I don't know why you think that you deserve an answer. Why if she didn't bring it up, it means it's dead. Like, you're just reading way too much into it. She didn't mention it. So what? There's a lot of
she mentioned every other thing that's
coming. She didn't. No, she didn't. There's a lot of
film. I mean, she mentioned every other film, though.
No, she didn't.
What do you mean? Every other film that's been announced, she talks about it in this interview.
Okay. Well.
Except the Charmin Obaid-Chinoy one, right?
No.
Okay. All right. Anything else on this?
I think that she's a legend, and she has earned the right to step down and retire when she wants.
I agree.
I don't think that she's being pushed out.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone who could push her out.
I agree with that.
Yes, I agree. Listen, I think that she has to say certain things to her staff, and she has to say certain things to the talent to reassure the talent, because you can bet a lot of people called. But I think that, Bob and Alan and other people are aware that there's a plan, and they know what's really up. So Bellany was right, but I was right first.
Okay. All right. 2 final questions. We step out as Lucasfilm boss this year. We really don't know at this stage. There's so much going on, Mike. I don't know. When it happens, we'll make the decision. Me. It's my decision. This is 100% my decision.
Spoken like a true boss queen.
Boss lady.
Again, you don't fuck with Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah.
How many times have I said this? The idea that she was ever going to get fired from her post was laughable.
You're right. Of course. This is a woman of power, and this is a woman of, how can I say, it's history, right? Hollywood history.
Yeah, so exactly. She will go when she wants. Yeah. And she wants to.
Should we let her cook? She's been cooking for 12 years. All right, so you think it's Filoni and Carrie Beck, and it seems like she's alluding to the fact that it's internal. It'll be internal, whoever takes over.
Certainly seemed to be alluding to that. I mean, she kept saying the person, which would seem to indicate individual. But yeah, again, I don't. Everyone I spoke to, I don't think anyone said Dave Filoni should be running that place on his own.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody said that.
Right.
All due respect to Dave. So
nobody should. No, nor should anyone say that, because he should not be running that place alone.
Yeah, I mean, again, it is more than what Kevin Feige does at Marvel.
Yeah.
Because you don't just have film and television. You have ILM.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing, especially with Technicolor in the news this week. I mean, Kathy has protected ILM for years. She has protected it from the axe, from layoffs, and I do think that ILM is going to have to do more with less when she is gone, because she will not be able to step in the way and protect them much longer.
And I always find this fascinating, right, Jeff? Because I mean, the people pushed George Lucas out, and he eventually sold it when he was ready to sell it. And certainly the cacophony of voices trying to push Kathleen Kennedy out. This is a very defiant interview. I think she was smart to do the interview now, before the speculation went super crazy nuclear. The fact that she is saying, no, we're leaving on my terms. We have a plan. We've been talking about it for a long time, and it's going to happen when I say.
I don't really know, but I don't really know what she's like fighting back against. I feel like, what did Bellany say that was wrong? Like,
no, it's not about. I don't think it's about Bellany. I think it's the other noise, and that other people, that these anti-wokers who are celebrating, thinking that they finally got her out, that they were the ones that pushed her out, and it's
they
bullshit.
Know what they're talking about,
huh?
They don't know what they're talking about, and they just go narratives in their own head.
Right, of course they have to make money. They have to grift. I know. It's frustrating. All right. Anything more to say? I think Kathleen kind of closed the book on this particular topic, don't you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's move on. Let's move on. Some a little. There's no easy way to transition to this, but we got to talk about it. Jeff, we had a really tough week this week with the losses, including this morning. We lost the great Gene Hackman at 95 years old. One of my personally favorite actors. The blue collar approach, the drive, the desire, the fact that people doubted him. His own class at Pasadena Playhouse said he was voted least likely to succeed, and he fought his way to prominence, to Oscars, and to a legacy, an incredible legacy. We also lost Michelle Trachtenberg at 39 years old. Sadly, it seems to be connected to a organ transplant issue. That's what they're speculating at this point. And sadly, Roberto Orci also passed this week, who had worked on Transformers, worked on a Star Trek film, had showrun a number of shows, including Fringe, Hercules, and others. But Jeff, what are your thoughts on all these passings? Three incredible people at different stages of their lives passing away.
Yeah, it was. I mean, all three were sad on different levels. Obviously, let's start with Trachtenberg, just because she was only 39 years old. I mean, had obviously been through some rough times, either with alcohol or substance abuse, battling her personal demons that often come with being a child star, which she most certainly was. And, I don't know if there's other underlying health issues going on or whatever, but she needed a liver transplant. And it seems like that her body rejected that transplant, that the family declined an autopsy. So it seems like they kind of already know what happened here. And we're not necessarily entitled to any answers. We're just going to have to live with the not knowing. But I grew up watching her, Harriet the Spy, Pete and Pete. I didn't really, stay on top of her career with Buffy and Gossip Girl and that kind of stuff. But, she certainly had a certain spunky energy that stood out to kids my age. Yeah.
I mean, I loved her in Eurotrip. I thought she was great in Eurotrip. And I like seeing her grow as an actress. But, if you followed her social media, you could sense, you could read between the lines. There were things that she was struggling with. And certainly Rosie O'Donnell alluded to that in her tribute to him. By the way, a lot of wonderful tributes towards her. So clearly she was an actress that a lot of people got to know and enjoyed working with, and felt was a fierce energy on their sets, fighting for them and fighting for what was right on the project. So truly a sad loss at 39.
Yeah, I mean, I used to hang out with her sister Irene, and so that's sort of where my head went when I saw the news. I just felt so terrible for Irene. I wouldn't know what to do if I lost one of my brothers. But just tragic news. And then Roberto Orci, also someone who I believe struggled with alcohol abuse. I think that he died of complications from like kidney failure or something.
Kidney failure. Kidney disease. Yes.
Yeah, like he was a titan. I mean, this dude worked on like every major franchise. There was a period, it must have been a 10-year period where he was like one of the hottest screenwriters in town, making money hand over fist, which is no, easy feat. I know him and Kurtzman had split in recent years. I don't know if it happened.
2012. Yeah,
I think Orci may have been like a 9/11 truther, and I don't know sort of what happened.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
I don't know exactly what happened there, but he was certainly a talent, even if he didn't love all the stuff that those guys made. Like, a lot of those products get watered down, by studio executives. So there's so much meddling on those kinds of movies. To even get a job like that, you have to be pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. I heard a story years ago about Orci and Kurtzman being essentially locked in a hotel room with Michael Bay for like 2 weeks to write the second Transformers movie, the third Transformers movie. And the legendary stories I heard from friends in town who knew Roberto Orci and what he had said about it was fascinating stuff for sure.
You have to tell me off air.
Yeah.
And then, Gene Hackman, obviously one of the all-time greats, a legend. I don't even know how to do his career justice tonight. I'm going to attempt to. But starting like 10 to 12 classic movies.
Yeah.
And you're right. He had a certain blue collar, everyman thing that a lot of those stars didn't. Like, they were all beautiful Robert Redford, Paul Newman types, and he was just a gritty, regular kind of guy. And obviously, crazy what happened. I don't know. We still don't have answers.
We don't. At the last I heard, the deaths are suspicious. They had initially ruled out foul play, but then they found pill bottles. Gene Hackman was in one room. His wife, who was a concert pianist, was in another room with one of the dogs who was in the bathroom closet. But then the other 2 dogs were fine. So they're investigating. There's still a lot of open investigation on this and what have you. But look, the man was 95 years old, had been suffering from health problems. That's why he retired in 2004 anyway, then wrote books. I mean, it's not like he laid around and waited to die. He wrote books, stayed active, was painting. But there's probably a number of reasons why this happened, and they'll figure it out. But the legacy, man, I wrote this on Twitter and on social media. Like, for me, that man has been a part of my life since in every decade of my existence. Every decade is decorated with his movies, and certainly the 2010s. No, but I went back and doing the Cinephiles. We've talked about a number of his films throughout the last 10 to 15 years. So just an incredible actor, man. I loved him to pieces, and Hoosiers will always be my favorite performance of his. But obviously there are better films, but his performance in Hoosiers, I always go back to that one, man. So yeah, terrible loss, dude. Even at 95. So, all right. So let's move on to more stuff. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's move on. We're running out of time though. So those 2 topics took a lot of time. So let's move to this. Christopher Nolan, let's talk about it. Nolan Bond follow-up. This was in Variety today. Sources say Christopher Nolan expressed interest in directing a Bond movie. But Broccoli had made it clear that no director would have final cut while Bond was under her purview. Nolan, a final cut director, wound up making Oppenheimer as his follow-up to Tenet. And then they talked a little bit more about how they want to control this. Oh, are you there? Oh, I lost you. Oh, boy. I lost Jeff. Uh-oh. The internet's come for him, I guess. Sorry, I'm going to take that down. You guys can see me, right? You guys can see me. So I just want to make sure it isn't me. Jeff seems to be gone. Hey, there he is. Maybe he's back.
I'm back.
What happened there?
I think the laptop died, even though it's plugged in. I told you last week.
Yeah.
I think that you had seen when I was home in Boston. I couldn't find my charger.
Oh yeah.
I have my dad's girlfriend's charger, but I don't. It's not working. So I don't know what happened.
Oh, that's weird.
Like, everything's all plugged in. It just stopped.
Yeah, that's fine. At least we got you back and not wandering around in the rain.
I'm back.
So that's good. But the Nolan Broccoli stuff, they wrote about it in Variety today. Do you think this is maybe greasing the wheels a little bit for Nolan to swing back around next year and maybe, as you mentioned, be in charge of this thing?
I think this has to be the plan.
Mm.
I mean, I wouldn't do. You have to just keep Bond on ice another year, as much as that may hurt. And you just wait for Chris to be done with the Odyssey. I like anything else seems irresponsible to me. Yeah. But you only wait if you're prepared to give him final cut. If you're not prepared, right? If you just spent another close to $1 billion to get full control, and you want to just hand that control over to him, well, then why waste any more time? Just hire a writer, hire a producer.
The article in Variety makes it clear that they negotiated for a year with Broccoli and Wilson to try to get them to let go of this. And apparently Bezos just got sick of waiting for it and was like, just figure it out, pay them off somehow. And sure enough, that's what ended up happening. So there we go. Now he's got it. All right, let's move on to this other thing, dude. What about the David Zaslav, the Luca and Abdy situation? Anything big about him dressing them down over the Joker situation? Does this hurt them in any way? Do you see them moving on?
This is all old news, right?
Okay.
Obviously, this was dissected to death last fall when Joker 2 bombed.
Yeah.
I think that, this is supposedly the make or break slate. So I think this is a big year for Mike and Pam. And if the slate doesn't work, I could see changes being made.
Yeah.
Because those seats aren't permanent. I've heard really good things about F1. Now, that's not technically their movie. It's an Apple movie, but they're distributing it. I think that will work out well for them. I've heard great things about Final Destination.
Yeah.
I've heard, obviously they're nervous about Mickey 17.
Yeah.
I don't think that will be a wise investment for them. Sinners could go either way.
Yeah, I've heard not great test screenings.
Sinners could go either way. I think Minecraft could go either way.
Oh, that looks horrific, dude. That new trailer was bad.
I've heard mixed things about The Bride.
Oh, no.
Which, has me a little nervous because that's an expensive movie. But, when they announced that there's a musical element to that, I was like, why? So I've heard Jesse Buckley and Christian Bale are great in the movie, but
well, of course, they're good actors.
I think they should be maybe a little nervous about that one. And then Superman has a lot of expectations on it. There's a lot riding on Superman, so we'll see how this year goes for Warner Brothers. I thought it was going to be a slam dunk, and now I'm not so sure.
Yeah, fair point.
Plus the PTA movie, which again, if they're projecting 180 million domestic internally, I realize that Leo's in this movie and that if you do move it to the holiday season, it'll have legs.
Yeah.
That still seems pretty high.
Yeah. Owen, we did about 20 minutes on it, so catch up. It'll come up when you're watching it, or circle back because we read 15 to 20 minutes. We read that whole article there on Deadline, Owen. All right, now what about these trailers that came out this week? Havoc with Tom Hardy, they're from Gareth Evans, rather. The Surfer trailer came out with Nick Cage, which looks awesome, and then the Holland trailer with Nicole Kidman that's coming out on Prime Video next month. What were your thoughts on these three, man?
Holland to me looked very uneven. The tone was kind of all over the place. I wasn't a big fan of Mimi Cave's first movie, Fresh. So I've been looking forward to Holland for a while because I like Andrew Sadrowski, the writer. I'm a little nervous about that one. Havoc. Havoc I think will be a fun Netflix movie. How could that possibly be bad?
That looks fucking great, man. Like Extraction, great.
I don't know if it looks great, but I was like, how can it be bad?
It can be bad. I'll show you Triple Frontier. I'll show you how it can be bad.
I know. I love The Ringer trying to reappraise Triple Frontier and Sean. I was like, you are fucking crazy, guys. And then the third one was The Surfer. That looked like a blast. I didn't even recognize that was Julian McMahon.
Oh, what?
That's
the Nip Tuck?
He's the leader of the bad.
Holy shit! Now that you say it, I see it. Oh my god, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I thought that was a really cool movie. I didn't love Vivarium. I think I saw Vivarium, and I don't remember liking it.
Okay.
It's from the same director, but this is exactly what I want to see from Cage. So
this has Mandy vibes, and I love when he goes into these places. So yeah. All right. Good stuff. I agree. Do you want to hit on the IMAX Narnia theatrical window stuff? Anything to say on that? Anything? Do you care about any of this? Is this really controversy?
What is the big deal about this? The IMAX is 1,000 screens. Are they going to play? Of course they're going to play. People want to see Narnia. People are going to show up to the movie theater. This is a business. Yeah. Tell the other studios to fuck off if they don't like it. Tell them to get the fucking Narnia rights next time.
I think it's jealousy because all these all these studios are mad at Netflix, and Netflix doesn't mind throwing their weight around, and they hate it. They hate it. Yeah.
This is Greta Gerwig throwing her weight around.
That too. Yes, of course. All right. And Owen wanted some good news. Here's some good news. The Beekeeper 2 has been greenlit. So that is happening, Jeff. Let's get excited. Let's get excited.
I'm still buzzing around, mate.
Buzzing around my yard. All right. And the Oscars are this weekend. Now, I know you did your predictions on FYC, so people should watch the more extensive coverage. But, I mean, we should do them here, too, Jeff. This is a movie show as well, film show as well. So can you do them? Do you feel okay?
I'm picking different winners on every. I did the Oscar predictions with Ryan Bailey as well.
Oh, good. Let's do it.
I'm going to do them different on every single show, and that way I can just pull up the
How
clip.
dare you? This is your number one show.
I said Conclave was going to win the whole time.
Now you sound like an Oscars predictor for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Best Picture. What do you got?
My heart says The Brutalist.
Yes.
That The Brutalist will prevail in the end, but my head says Anora.
I have to agree with Jeff. I have to agree. Although I do think Conclave could shock the world. I'm just going to throw that out.
I don't think it can.
Not after the BAFTAs? You don't think so?
I don't think so, but that's just me.
Yeah. Didn't they win the SAG Ensemble Award as well?
It can win all the awards. I don't care. It just it won this, it won that. This is a different award show with different voters.
You're fair. You're fair. All right, best actor here: Brody, Chalamet, Domingo, Fiennes, and your man there, Sebastian Stan. Your heart tells you Sebastian Stan. What's your head tell you?
No, my heart and my head tell me Adrian Brody.
Hey, Brody. I'm going to throw Chalamet in there as my heart. I'll do that. I'll cheat that way. Best actress.
Whoa. I don't give about your heart. Who do you think's going to win?
No, I think it'll be Brody in the end. But I don't know. The Chalamet thing at the SAG Awards, that was pretty surprising.
Doesn't matter. I mean, so you're not saying like, oh, his speech was really good and that could, because voting's already closed by the time.
Yeah, it can't affect it. Yeah,
right.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was that surprising. I think SAG is a more populist organization, and the Academy is older and more refined, and there's more likely to be a lot of, I mean, there's TikTok influencers in SAG.
Yeah, you know what? You say it's more refined, yet the two of those voters didn't fucking know that Ray Fiennes didn't win the Oscar before. Come on.
Do you want to see what 100,000 people in SAG don't know? Holy shit.
That's true.
They don't even know who these people, who Bob Dylan is.
Who's Bob D?
Yeah, okay. That's like 3% of the SAG membership is probably under 25 or whatever. And they have no idea who Bob Dylan is. So.
You're probably right. You're probably right. You fucking boomers. All right, actress here: Cynthia Erivo, Mikey Madison, Francesca Torres, Demi Moore, and Carla Sofia Gascon. Jeff, who is apparently now going to the Oscars on Netflix's dime.
Of course, she was going. I mean, what's she gonna do? She's gonna be nominated for an Oscar and sit home in her bathrobe? Like, what the fuck do people
with
want?
Wine? Stay home and wine.
Netflix did the right thing there, because Netflix would not be at the award show if it wasn't for Carla Sofia Gascon.
That's a fair point. That is a fair point, my man.
They would end up casting Scarlett Johansson as Amelia Perez or Emma Stone. Fucking give me a break. So who do I think wins? I think, again, this is just a crazy. I thought I was going to be the only person on FYC who said it, and then both Mance and Perry agreed. I think Mikey and Demi split the vote, and Fernando Torres wins.
Whoa, that is interesting. I mean, I recently watched I'm Still Here again. That's an incredible performance, Jeff. I don't think there's any shame if she wins.
This is what I'm saying. Everyone I haven't even seen the movie, but everyone who sees the movie is like, she's amazing.
Yeah.
People who see the substance are like, that was really brave of Demi Moore to take that role.
But also half of it is done by Margaret. So you can make a case, like with Demi, to say, like, does she deserve it? Because Margaret did half the work. I don't know.
I just not buying it. I just, like, if she was so beloved, but, like, you know, why wasn't she, like, getting a nomination in the 90s for Ghosts and A Few Good Men and all this other shit?
Yeah. Well, it's a different voting body now, but
that's for sure.
I think Demi still wins, but I agree with you. I would not be surprised, and with your FYC cohorts, I would not be surprised if Fernanda.
I think it's going to be Fernanda or Mikey. I don't think it's going to be Demi Moore.
You don't think it's going to be Demi?
I think Cynthia Erivo could still win too. Yeah, somehow.
Okay. Meet the nominees. The director here. Directors here for Brutalist, Anora, Amelia Perez, A Complete Unknown, and The Substance. What do you got? Anything Coralie pulls an upset. What do you got?
I feel like Brady easily did the best job. I think Sean Baker's going to win.
Really? I will disagree. I think Brady Corbett wins. Absolutely.
I'm going to say Sean.
I don't know. All right, fair. Supporting actress here. Monica Barbaro here. Ariana Grande. Isabel Rossellini. Zoe Saldana. And Felicity Jones. Who you got?
I think Zoe's going to win.
Yeah, I think Zoe wins hands down. I don't think it's even a question. I think it's the only thing they win that night. Maybe song. All right, best supporting actor here. What do you got here? Kieran, does Kieran take this, or does maybe Edward Norton pull an upset?
At this point, I have to relent and say Kieran, because I don't know that any of the other guys really stated their case or campaigned the best this season. I think it's possible that an upset's in the air because A Real Pain was not nominated for Best Picture, and I do think that there are people who love Honora and love who love Jeremy Strong's work in The Apprentice. But I'm going to stick with Kieran for now to be safe.
I'm going to say Guy Pearce in an upset, but Kieran will probably win. Kieran will probably win. Oh, no, sorry. Edward Norton in an upset, but Kieran will probably win. That's what I would say. I think Guy Pearce should win, but that's my own personal. All right. Is that it? Good? Or do you want to do a screenplay or adapted screenplay? You good? All right. So just to pick the rest of your predictions.
Yeah. On FYC, on Perry's channel, and I'm sure I'll do one last final predictions on Friday night before the Oscars.
On your newsletter. Yeah. Okay. There you go. All right. Anything else? Shall we jump into questions?
Yeah, let's do some questions.
All right. Jeff, we got 42 of these, so strap in, bro. James D. Michelle says, hey, John and Jeff, now that Robert Pattinson is out as DCU Batman, do you think they could nab Sebastian Stan, Glenn Powell, or Jake Gyllenhaal for Batman? Also gets Zack Snyder to direct over Andy. I'm going to say no to all of this, Jeff. What do you think?
Why is he out as DCU Batman? Who said that?
Well, he said that. James Gunn said that they're not planning on him being the DCU Batman.
A lot of people aren't planning on a lot of things happening, and then they happen. Okay. Do they think I've seen Sebastian Stan, he's the Winter Soldier. No, that's a no. Glenn Powell, I wouldn't do that if I was him. And Jake Gyllenhaal, I think Jake Gyllenhaal would make a great Batman. But to me, Jake Gyllenhaal doesn't feel like the kind of Batman that James Gunn wants. Glenn Powell feels like the kind of Batman James Gunn wants.
It's going to be Reacher. Yeah,
Richardson would be amazing, but
for the kind of Batman he wants to do, Richardson would work really well. So,
but I think that's the choice. I don't
know. James, do you still think James Gunn is after Pattinson? Also, do you think James is bringing Zack
Snyder? A lot of questions about this.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's going to.
Do you think James is bringing? No, I don't think Zack Snyder is coming on to direct a DCU project. Anything on Andy Muschietti? No, he's waiting on the sideline just like us.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. Ewok says John Lithgow turns 80 this year. Says he'll be 86 or 87 when the Harry Potter series wraps, implying that HBO will release a new season every year. No. He's saying he's going to be done. He might be done 87 when he's done. That doesn't mean they're going to release him every year. He's maybe done shooting them. Right.
And not to mention, I think it's entirely possible they could front load his stuff and that they could shoot stuff with John Lithgow that they don't need for 3 more seasons.
Yeah, very possible. My Comic Planet says R.I.P. Gene Hackman. But what do you guys think about the bizarre circumstances surrounding both Gene and his wife and his dog that is being reported? I don't think anything of it until we get actual evidence and facts and the police start presenting stuff. I am not going to speculate, irresponsibly on this because this man deserves better than that from all of us. He entertained us for decades, man. So what do you think, Jeff? Anything?
I think that they're exactly what they said. They're bizarre circumstances.
Yeah.
About it.
That's it. Max Law says Shrek 5 could be bigger than Mario Brothers, but fans are not happy with the characters being redesigned. Why risk such a major slam dunk and anger fans? Max, when do you not fucking anger fans? Anything you do angers fans nowadays.
Guys, I need the design to be the exact same that it was in 2001. I can't have any improvements tied to technology. It needs to be the exact same 2-dimensional Shrek. Shut the fuck up.
Sometimes I wonder that it's not the creatives, it's the fans that are the fucking problem. Sometimes. I did have that Zendaya thing. I don't know why I didn't drop that before, but I knew that. Yeah. It was good. I liked the teaser. It was fun for what it was. 30 seconds. Max Lothlow says Robert Eggers had 2 successful films and his third bombed, and his fourth was a breakout hit. Could Ari Aster follow a similar path with Bo tanking and Eddington breaking through? Eggers and Aster are indie film people that people are familiar with.
No. The answer is no.
By the way, Bo is Afraid is on Max for people who want to see it. So yeah.
Eddington is going to be a fucking weird ass movie too.
Yeah, I agree. Where's the marketing? Maxwell says, where's the marketing for a big, bold, beautiful journey with Margot and early May release date? I don't know.
I thought, are you sure that's early May? I thought that got moved.
Might have gotten moved.
That's an awards movie. So unless they're doing they can still do Cannes. Yeah, early May. No, there's no way that's an early May. They've released this year.
Yeah. The Yankee says that alarm is on brand for this show. That's right. It's hot. It's on fire. I agree. Jaws Walker, another shift in DC. Mattel Toys has regained the rights to make toys and action figures. Prior, McFarlane Toys was making the DC universe figures. Oh, that's good to know. Well, there you go. All right. Well, we'll see what happens.
Gotta have movies featuring characters that people want to buy toys of.
That's true.
The movies.
Turbo says, dream actor for Clayface living are no longer with us. Mine's Philip Seymour Hoffman, R.I.P. Ooh. That's a great choice.
You always resurrect him via AI.
I mean, if you wanted to play him funny, Jim Carrey, Clayface, literally, that is the definition right there. You know,
I too have thought about Jim Carrey for this, but I don't think that's what. You don't need to actually have a Clayface. They're gonna do it with CGI.
I mean, Jim would be great though, man, especially because he seems to have been reborn. Avril Shrivastava, he says, "Hey Jeff, since you said you heard that Superman is still not testing well / is terrible, is Superman basically doomed now with about 4 months left for release?"
I'm not gonna. No, I don't. This one person saying I keep hearing it's terrible.
Yeah. And LSFC 96 says, thoughts on article that some Academy voters had not watched Dune. Is it more widespread? I think it's an outrage. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Was it some Academy voters or was it one Academy voter on an anonymous ballot, or 1 or 2 voters? That's the thing. Add up all these ballots, folks. The 4 at Entertainment Weekly, the 6 at Hollywood Reporter, the 8 at Next Best Picture. Add them all up, you get 90 fucking ballots or something like that out of 10,000. It means absolutely fucking nothing. I think that a lot of Academy members don't watch the movies. They don't. Yeah, they don't take it seriously, which is why the whole thing has become a fucking farce. And the more people that you invite into your organization, the fewer fucking, think that their vote matters, and so they don't watch the movies.
You dilute it. That's a fair point. Rohit Dar says, "Hey Jeff, would you care to elaborate on what you think is going on with The Brave and the Bold and Andy Muschietti? Specifically, do you think James Gunn will write and or direct The Brave and the Bold himself?" Why won't you people listen to me? I told you what's going to happen. Anyway, Jeff, go ahead.
I don't think that he's writing Brave and the Bold himself. No.
Yeah. I think he's going to direct it. I think he's writing it with him. Fine. Mystery writer, fine. But I think he's going to, and no way Muschietti directs this thing. Safran saying, we're going to show it to him first. Yeah. Here's what you're not doing. How do you not get the director involved in the writing of the script that he's about to fucking direct? That makes no sense. He's not a gun for hire. You hired him before you started writing the script. This isn't a Gareth Edwards Jurassic Park situation.
And they announced Muschietti on their own, right?
Yes.
That's another thing where it's just you're giving answers to questions that we just don't need answered right now.
Yeah. 34 Virgo says, damn, Pat said he loved the script for no reason. Yeah. Max Sloth says, Sean Durkin's next film sounds great. Austin Butler, Saoirse Ronan, Iron Claw was successful both critically and financially.
Oh, yeah. Iron Claw was a massive hit.
Yeah, I don't recall it being successful financially. Critically, possibly, yeah. But no awards, so... Rodfire, Rocha, why hire Gunn if you want to keep Pattinson? They hired Gunn to create this new DC universe. I suggest hire Reeves to run the whole thing if you want to keep Pattinson. I'm rooting for Gunn, but it will fail if the studio isn't all in. Well, you don't know. You didn't know how good you didn't know the reaction to Pattinson what it was going to be, and you certainly didn't see the Penguin season 1 being the massive awards winner that it was.
What do these things even have to do with each other? Well, if we want to keep Pattinson, why would we hire James Gunn? What does one have to do with the other?
Right. If I'm the boss, you're going to work with the toys I give you. That's how it works. It's not even about so-and-so's vision or, this and that and this. I mean, it's just simple. This is just very simple. Yeah.
Public can only handle one version of a character at one time.
Right. Let me Ward says, great show as always, boys. Thank you. Any updates on the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise? Jeff, any updates there?
None I'm not going to share with you.
All right. Plethoric says, any word on how Supergirl is? Costume reveal when? Well, they said they're halfway through and they said they're happy, but I haven't seen a costume reveal, Jeff.
Don't know. And quite frankly, I'm going to get accused of misogyny. I don't care.
There it is.
Don't care. No interest.
Yeah. I don't care how much people scream. She is not at the level of Superman. Okay? She's not.
That's like a rental for me. Like, I didn't run out to see Cruella. I watched Cruella on Disney Plus or VOD or whatever, and I'm glad I did. I liked it enough, and that's probably what will happen with Supergirl.
Yeah. Joe Fine says, I'll believe Jeff over an anonymous person on Twitter every time. If you can't show your face, then you're fake. I'll agree with that.
Emilio!
34 Virgo, changing the ingredients is hilarious. It is. He's changing the ingredients. I can't let him cook. He promised me something, and now he's giving me something else. Galleon Productions, how bad is Superman at the moment? I think we talked about
it. It's these kinds of questions. I just tell you what I hear.
Yeah.
So maybe someone saw it, and that's their opinion that it was terrible, or that it's shaping up to be terrible, and that's just their opinion. I don't know until I see it, and if they want to know what I really think, then they can invite me to see it. Until then, I have nothing to go off of but what other people tell me. So if they respect my taste and they think they've got something, then they can fucking invite me into the editing room.
There you go. Or to the presentation. James Gunn. Oh, no. James, hey, Jeff, why don't you quit being a little girly boy and meet me by the willow trees and come solo so I can make sure you leave in multiples. Hashtag I'm the big DC. Wow, James. Wow. Matt Sister McCall says, best decade of film for me, it's easily the 90s. No, it's the 70s. It's not even a fucking question.
Easily the 90s. Go on.
Please. You wouldn't even have a 90s if it wasn't for the 70s. They're all influenced by 70s film.
That's how time works.
James Gunn, big DC equals big dick in charge. Yeah, boy. Yeah, nice. It's a good thing you're still tweeting your stuff there, James. Peter, sup, boys? Jeff, what's been the hottest project script of the past few months you've heard good things about? Oh, Jeff, can you say, or are you holding on to that one?
No, I mean, Alignment, I read that script that just got Joe Wright attached to direct. I thought that was a very interesting, terrifying script.
Okay. Channel name.
But John, okay, there was one announced today in Variety that stood out. It was a 7-figure spec sale. Mm-hmm. It was an ice movie set in the world of professional bull riding.
Ooh.
Okay, now when you rob a bank with a car, the eyewitnesses go, oh, I saw a purple Chevrolet, and this was the license plate. You know what doesn't have a license plate? A bull.
A bull.
Imagine if someone is robbing banks or jewelry stores with a fucking bull.
Come on.
I think that would be awesome. I'm very curious what that script is.
Good point. Channel name says, as before, but phone died before I saw the response. Reeves' go-to production designer seems to have signed up for Narnia, shooting from June to December. That's good.
Okay. So what? There's other production designers.
Oh, so they're saying that they won't be on the Batman Part 2.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know.
Maybe. 34 Virgo, all I hear you all saying is KK ran out of spit. Yikes. Derek Johnson, starting to get whiffs of the old DCU from Gunn and Safran. I'm far from a Sneider bro, but we all got to be realists here. This is more than he was ready for, and his ego won't let him realize it. Why didn't he reboot Peacemaker?
I don't. Yeah. It's why he couldn't reboot
Oh,
Peacemaker.
Gotcha.
Because of his ego, I don't know. Again.
Yeah.
you gotta just tell good stories featuring interesting characters, stories that are going to get my dad, my brothers back into theaters, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know that Clayface and Sergeant Rock are the answer, but I appreciate his commitment to showcasing the breadth of the DC IP.
Yeah. Derek Johnson support. Thank you, Derek. Paul Cree. John, hope you're doing well, buddy. Thank you. Jeff, always appreciate your opinions and takes. Might be because I'm a 1984 kid too. Jeff, BBC News will be reaching out again to get your Oscar analysis. All the best. Nice.
Wonderful. Nice. Spread the good word. Thank you, BBC.
Paul, what the fuck? Am I chicken litter? You started with me on the top 10 show, Paul. I'm not fucking, mincemeat. Throw me on the BBC every once in a while. I talk some
BBC.
I talk some football with you all. Goes West Ham. Thank you for beating Arsenal.
Football.
Derek Johnson said, saw the photos with the Green Lantern tees. Got to admit, I would have loved to see Hal in that classic fight jacket with those aviators. Yeah, that's not the route they're going, man. They're detectives.
But he had a green ring, and that's what matters.
That's what matters. Just so you get a little hint. Thank you, Derek. Nerdy Mastermind. Harloff was right. Rocha has a personal issue and axe to grind with Gunn. Sure. Randolph also hates Gunn. Why would anyone listen to what she has to say?
Maybe we should ask about why all these prominent people in the space don't like James Gunn.
Yeah.
Or he could just surround himself with 24 bloggers who lap up his every word and don't challenge anything he says. And
right.
I mean, again, who does that sound like to you? You tell me. I know that's harsh. I know I've taken some flack for the comparison this week, but what is he doing differently than our fearless leader, Mr. Trump?
Oh, I 100% agree with you. 100%
Same thing.
Yeah.
You criticize my administration, you're not welcome to the party anymore, pal. Yeah. You're welcome back when you get on board. Okay.
I will decide who gets to be in the press room to ask me questions about things. Yeah, it's very Trump-esque. I 100% agree with that.
Yep.
No denying that. No, and people are in the cult. You know why? Because they want to succeed riding the coattails of someone else. They want to host panels. They want to be able to get in and interview them. They want to elevate themselves, and they want to work those six-figure jobs at an outlet or a place, a site, and they'll never ask them a legitimate question. They'll never question them about their intentions. It's nonsense, man.
And it's really Gunn, because it's not like my relationship with the DC press people, because I had a great relationship with those people. That relationship changed when they began working for James Gunn.
Interesting. Derek says, love the show, guys. Thank you, Derek. Appreciate that. Matt Sinister McCall. Jeff, I laughed to tears from your take on the Usual Suspects lineup. Will you go on the Christian Harloff show? Hey, Rocha, I'd love to see you debate Jody's Corner on movies. I don't know who that is. So I don't know if I could debate him. I don't know who that is. Jeff, you've been on Christian Harloff show, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm happy to go back anytime Christian wants, and I will. We can just do Usual Suspects lines the entire time.
There you go. Yeah. What Jody's Corner? I have no idea who that is. All right, Samo, what is both of y'all's top 5 greatest Best Picture winners this past decade? Oof.
I mean, hasn't there only been 5 Best Pictures?
Yeah. Well, that hasn't even been 5 because we haven't done 2025 yet. So, I don't know. Those are the top 5. Sam, I'm sorry, Sam. I think we can answer that. Quody Hunt says Kennedy seemingly confirmed Gosling in Star Wars, right? Seemingly confirmed Gosling in Star. Yeah, I mean, she said Ryan Gosling and Sean Levy's movie, so which it seemed like that was already there.
And we confirmed she said something. We caught her. No, yeah. I mean, we already knew Ryan Gosling was going to be in Star Wars. That's what happens. Trades say everything, just like they did with Daniel Craig and Sergeant Rock.
Cody Hunt said, either you going to South by Southwest this year. Are you going, Jeff?
No, I've never been to South by Southwest. That's again a festival that has just never fostered that relationship, has never reached out and like, hey, we'd love to have you be a part of this. Totally cool. Do your thing.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm ever going to festivals again. I'm getting old and all those diseases coming out. No thanks, man. C Black says Gunn thought Feige's job was easy. Respect the GOAT. Agreed.
That is definitely what he's finding out, is that it's not that easy to build a universe.
It's easy.
Yes, I see the who is spamming the chat with Daniel RPK says he's seen a casting grid for Clayface. Now I don't know if James Gunn realizes that like this is where Daniel and all these people pull shit from is grids and stuff. But yeah, there aren't. Yes, whether there's a director or not, that project is listed in the grid, and then some agents are going to have a whole list of interested in sending so in for meetings. I mean, yeah. Blame the agents, James Gunn.
There you go. C Black, any updates on Marvel, Doomsday, or X-Men? No, other than they're starting to shoot soon, right? They're back to back. What do you think their radical plan is? The Russo's brothers said it on the red carpet, Jeff. Is it culling half the universe? And making it easier for Feige to go forward? What do you think their big radical plan is?
I have no idea what their big radical plan is. It seems like it's already casting Robert Downey Jr. as Doom. All right.
All right, keep going.
I do have
You got something. Okay, hold on. Slow down. Go ahead.
I heard a rumor that Doomsday might push.
Okay. Even though they're saying they're shooting them back to back in London very soon, the release date might still be pushed, is what you're saying.
I think that the release date could push to the next slot.
Wow.
Right? So it would, I don't know when the next slot is, but it could just miss, one slot. So it'd be pushed like a few months. I think they don't know who's in the movie. That's what I heard.
That's what you heard. They don't know.
I heard we still don't know who's going to ultimately be in this movie and who's not. Like, we don't know who's going to be available. Like, we don't know any of that. So I think if they're just still figuring out what that ensemble looks like.
How can they start shooting without knowing who the fuck's going to be in the cast? That's weird. Okay. Matt says to McCall, any Underworld movies coming? I miss Celine. Don't we all?
No. There wasn't there an Underworld announcement about somebody taking over the franchise? It rings a bell, but I don't keep track of that franchise. I've never seen one.
Yeah. What? Oh my God.
Never seen an Underworld movie. Maybe I saw the first one. I don't care. It's not for me. Like Resident Evil. Don't care. Pass.
How dare you? Cody Hunt. Chris Nolan directed Bond film is like printing money. I agree. Starring either Aaron Taylor Johnson or Pattinson, then put Jonah Nolan in charge of the TV division.
That would be interesting if you hired both the Nolans. I mean, that's one of the things that I alluded to in the newsletter, that possibility. Yeah. I kind of saw it as Jonah writing the movie and Chris directing the movie, but I could also see Chris overseeing film and Jonah overseeing TV.
Yeah.
I was told that him and Lisa Joy are a little bit busy actually doing season 3 of Fallout.
Oh, okay.
Right? Busy filming season 2. I already, reported like Kumail's going to be part of that cast.
Yeah.
But I think that they're already planning out season 3, so they may be too busy to just write a Bond movie the next year. But I like that idea. As far as Aaron Taylor Johnson goes, no, he's not James Bond. Pattinson, I don't think so. There is one person, if Nolan got the job, who I would look at very closely.
Who is that?
Jack Lowden.
Oh, interesting.
From Dunkirk.
Okay. Yeah. Good actor, Jack.
I just think I think that he was cast in Dunkirk with that idea of like, this is grooming him for something larger. Oh. And I don't know that larger thing has necessarily come along. And I could see Chris going back to him. I think he has the right look and build and stature and everything.
Okay. All right. Scottish actor, yeah, because he's in Wild Horses. He's great in Wild Horses.
Slow Horses, right? Yeah.
Slow Horses. Sorry, Slow Horses. Yeah. And married to Saoirse Ronan, so that's a hell of a combo. Sam Champion,
on girl, Saoirse Ronan.
I mean, come on. Sam Champion says, just wanted to drop by and give some support. Keep up the great work, guys. Thank you, Sam. Very kind of you. Anthony Beltray, any Marvel updates or X-Men? Well, we got a Marvel update. Any X-Men updates, Jeff?
Come back to me on that one.
All right. Logan Vaughn says, I saw the monkey today. Meh. But I love Theo James. It was my first time seeing him in something. He feels ideal for a big superhero. He's just got that look. What does he have coming up?
Theo James? I mean, I think he would make a great Bond. I just think he's very handsome. And But I don't know. Hold on.
He has 2 upcoming projects. One's called The Hole. It's in pre-production with Kim Ji-woon, who's the director on this one. And the other one is Fuse, which is directed by David Mackenzie, with him and Aaron Taylor Johnson and Gugu Mbatha-Raw, who I love. And her second season of her show on Apple TV is out now. So those are the answers for what he's got coming up. Brooklyn.
The X-Men stuff.
All right, what do you got for the X-Men stuff?
Well, again, this is the source who's reaching out. They said they're insisting that they're already checking availability for actors this summer for Clayface.
Okay.
We're waiting until a deal is closed to even start casting. I just don't think that is particularly genuine. With X-Men, okay. Winterbaum came out and said something about X-Men TV shows, right?
Yes.
We're focused on the X-Men movie.
Yeah.
That's great. Fantastic. You should be focused on the X-Men movie.
Right.
Can you only focus on one thing now? That's the thing about Marvel. I love it when it's like they have 10 shows going on at all times, but when it's convenient for them, we can only focus on one thing at a time. The X-Men Academy series is very real. It's in early development.
Yes.
I had heard different things about whether it was going to lead into an X-Men movie or follow an X-Men movie. It's more likely to follow an X-Men movie, which means 2028 at the earliest.
Yeah.
Still hearing Dickinson, still hearing Margaret Qualley, even if it's not Rogue. Still hearing, one guy who I know that Marvel really likes and really wants to work with is David Johnson.
Oh yeah, dude from Alien Romulus. Yeah, David's great, and Industry. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Wouldn't shock me if he wound up in the MCU sooner rather than later.
I can see that.
And then there's Austin Butler. Could there be a conversation about him as Gambit? I don't know.
That's great. David as Nightcrawler would be incredible. I would love to see that. Okay.
Who is Nightcrawler?
Alan Cumming played him in the X-Men movie.
David Johnson is Nightcrawler.
David Johnson. Yeah.
And then as far as like the Hugh Jackman of it all,
yeah,
I think he comes back for one more movie and that's it. I think he comes back for Secret Wars I don't think he's going to be Wolverine in the new X-Men.
Oh, fair point. All right, let's see here. Brooklyn says, I'm writing a book of poetry called Let Me Put My Poems in You. I'm also knitting a leather diaper bag for Faith Hill. Do you men write poetry or knit? What a stupid question. Sorry, moving on. Matt Sinistrom called the Hot Mic intro song is Baby Making Music. Thank you. Logan Vaughn, hey, Jeff, thanks for recommending One of Them Days. I saw it yesterday and laughed a good bit. My second favorite of the year so far behind Companion. Nice. That's good.
Could anybody see David Johnson as Beast, as Hank McCoy?
Oh, yeah, sure. I could see that. That could work. Brooklyn also, Kathleen Kennedy's, Jesus, Brooklyn. You're not getting a refund either. NLSFC 96 says, I personally love Timothy's Saxby. So did I, Jeff. I don't know why people came after him. What's wrong with having a fucking confidence in yourself? What's wrong with aspiring to be one of the greats? Why are people so lost in their insecurity and their low self-esteem that when a guy steps forward, or a person, regardless of gender, and says, I want to be one of the greats, and that's what I aspire to, Jordan, blah, blah, I want to be like that. And then people go, oh my God, he's so arrogant. He's so cocky. What is wrong with y'all, man? Stop projecting your bullshit on a kid who's driven to achieve greatness.
Yeah, I completely agree. I wrote something on Twitter about it, just how like people are afraid to be great. And it's not cool to want to be great. And you're right. I think it all stems from a place of fear.
Of course it is. C Block says, are the good Thunderbolts test screenings true? I've heard they're true. Jeff, what have you heard?
I haven't heard anything. I don't think that movie's going to work.
Okay. Darren Leslie says, when do you think we will see an official cast announcement for Doomsday? CinemaCon, Comic-Con, a trade? Jeff Sneider, maybe?
Beats me. You would think that things would be ready in time for CinemaCon, that they would have an idea in the next month of who is going to be filming this movie, but I don't know that they're just going to let the cat out of the bag there. CinemaCon, again, people have to understand, it's for theater owners. It's
right.
Like, the press is fairly minimal.
Yeah,
I don't know that that's really where you want to do it, but
Comic-Con makes sense. They love working that Hall H shit, so that makes sense. Especially if you're going to bring back Robert Downey Jr. because when they announced in the room last year, people lost their fucking minds. So Ewok says, thoughts on Alicia Vikander joining Gyllenhaal and Shyamalan's Remain? Sounds like an interesting project. Is this the return of Prestige Shyamalan? I don't think so, right? Because, Alicia hasn't been like knocking down door. I mean, Alicia has not been in a bunch of like great financially successful movies. Certainly a strong actress. Jake's doing Roadhouse on Prime, bro. Like these guys aren't where they were. There's no offense. They're still great talents. I love them, but they're not where they were before. So I think they're right at that range where Shyamalan can get them. You know, am I being too honest?
I don't really know what Vikander. I mean, she's a good actress, but I don't really know what she brings to the table. So,
yeah.
It's a whatever casting for me. It's
it brings independent movie credit. 34 Virgo says, "Put this answer to bed, please. Will the Russos only oversee X-Men franchise or do any movies after Daredevil, and I don't know what that is. Also, will our
Doomsday and Secret Wars?
Oh, Doomsday Secret Wars. Also,
you gotta learn to speak acronym, John. You gotta learn to speak geek acronym.
It's true. It's true. Also, will RDJ stay around longer afterwards? There's a lot of people speculating that, Jeff. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't think that he will. I mean, God, who would want to stay around this?
I think they're all going to leave after X-Men. I think they're all just going to go, that's it. See you guys. Peace out. Baxter McCall, is Hellraiser going to have a show on Max, Jeff? Hellraiser.
I hope not. No. I don't see that being part of the plan. I don't think that's a particularly strong brand.
Okay. Brooklyn says, if I knew a rumor I was personally told about, maybe Kevin Smith possibly being hired by James Gunn, would that pass the smell test?
No, it wouldn't.
All right. Kyle Wilson, any chance of a show like a modern day Airwolf or Knight Rider where the focus of the protagonist and a vehicle fighting crime? Who could pull off such a feat?
I think that's a clever way into Knight Rider, which they've been trying to do for ages.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd always heard it was going to be Pratt.
Oof. Yeah.
And I'd heard potentially Kevin Hart.
Oof.
I think.
Okay.
As like the voice of the car, maybe. I don't fucking know.
Take a left. Ewok says, any news on the King and Conqueror series about William of Normandy starring Nicola Coster?
That was a very old, by the way, those Pratt and Hart thing. That was like ages ago. Sorry, go on.
Any news on the King and Conqueror series about William of Normandy starring Nicola Coster-Waldau, James Norton, directed by Baltasar Kormacor?
What if I said yes right now? What are these questions?
I've been tracking King and Conqueror for about 5 years now. It's happening.
What are these questions? Go on.
James Norton, possible James Bond. I interviewed him. A really awesome dude.
Not buying it at all. Don't. That's like anyone who says that. I immediately tune out to everything.
Oh, well, you've tuned me out before. Nothing new. Wayne Edwards says, once again, great show, guys. Who is Gunn talking to? The fans or the shareholders? The upcoming DCU is smelling like the dead DCEU. His massive ego is wild. That being said, I'm rooting for him. Yeah, I agree. I'm rooting for him, even though I can poke holes in his logic or in his.
Yes, I'm rooting for him too, but he makes it very difficult.
Yes,
it's just like we're not even considering Daniel. Well, why are you saying that? That may be true, but like, why is it? Okay, why can't Emilio think that?
Yeah.
Just let Emilio think that and then cast whoever you want.
Right.
But to come out and say it, I just like, what is the upside?
Yeah.
It's to put me in my place.
DUI Champ says, any Star Trek news, or is the franchise so dead that it can drop a dud like Section 31 and there's no consequences to the idiots who made it?
I don't think anything with Star Trek is happening until that Paramount deal closes, which could be a while. I don't think David Ellison wants to come back with the previous regime's Star Trek people who did not perform well in number 3 and have done nothing to increase their stock in the past decade. I mean, other than Carl Urban joining the boys, like,
yeah, that's true.
What the fuck, Chris Pine? Yeah, I mean, come on. What are we talking about here?
All right, that's good. Let's move on from it. I'm trying to get this under the 2-hour mark, Jeff, for us. I know it's a long, so I'm trying to knock these out. Mike McKenzie, hey guys, any thoughts on WB shutting down their video game studios is fucking up in their DNA? Is fucking up in their DNA. RIP to the Nemesis system. Yeah, do you have anything you know about the video game studios?
No, I don't play video games. I play Super Mario Kart on Raspberry.
Okay. Yeah, the Wonder Woman thing, the shutting down the video game, it's really suspicious. Mark
So suspicious, the
suspicion. Have you heard anything on John Patton Ford's Huntington and when it may be released? Could this have awards aspirations? Jeff?
Not sure about the awards front, but I think it'll be good. Really loved what he did with Emily the Criminal, and I dig what this is about, and I dig the cast and Glenn. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Okay. Which of these can you see Glenn Powell joining at some point? DC, Marvel, Star Wars? Surprised no one has locked him down. I don't think he wants to be locked down into something like that right now. He seems to want to. I mean, he moved out of Hollywood, Jeff. He kind of wants to play the game his way now. He's got a little bit of cachet, so I don't.
If I was Glenn, I wouldn't touch any, especially right now.
Yeah.
None of these are like marquee franchises that we're like, oh wow, like you got tapped to do that.
Yeah.
These are all messes. Every single one of them right now.
Yeah.
I think you're still trying to find franchise movies like a J.J. Abrams movie, or just working with like good directors who can still make big movies. He's the star, not the franchise.
Right. And they're all in transition or going to be in transition. So, yeah, I don't know why you jump into it. Avi says, hey, guys, since Jeff Source said that Superman is apparently still not received well internally, is this movie doomed anyway? Making the DCU future plans moot? Hopefully it ends up good, but definitely concerning. Jeff?
I don't know what doomed means.
Like that they would start all over again if Superman is a bomb.
Do you think that that's what happens in Hollywood? Do you think that people have such a big ego that they're stubborn, and if Superman does bomb, they're going to carry out another half decade of this universe, because they can't admit they were wrong.
Yeah.
That's exactly what will happen, by the way.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Considering this is Johnny. Considering all of the producer talk in Hollywood recently, do you think Feige will step down after debuting the X-Men?
Yes.
If so, who would be his successor? Yeah. That seems to be what's going. I mean, I think My Time to Shine Hello said that as well. So, yeah, that seems to be the plan, right, Jeff?
Did they really?
I think so. Yeah, they tweeted that out. I think
that for ages. Yeah, I mean, you get X-Men up and running, and you get the fuck out of there. What? Yeah. You're on movie number 38? Like, stop while you're ahead, bro.
Might be 40 by the time they get to X-Men.
This is what I'm getting at.
This is 35th. You get 6 and 7 with Doomsday and
do something different.
So yeah, is Strange or Spider-Man
take over? I mean, again, if you're David Ellison, see if you can get Feige. See if you can give him Star Trek, give him maybe reboot Mission Impossible. I don't fucking know.
Anonymous Oscar fan, shots fired. Deadline just flamed Matt Maloney for his reporting on Kathleen Kennedy. Yikes. Guys, the trades are the trades, man. You got to it's go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead.
They didn't flame him at all. Matt Maloney was right. Everything he said was right, other than I don't know if it was like did he position it as her retiring?
Yeah, that sources are saying she is retiring. She's stepping down. Yeah, not retiring, just stepping down. I don't think
stepping down from Lucas, from the post at Lucasfilm. She's not retiring.
Yeah. I don't think it's flammable. And also, guys, like the trades are working with the studios to craft a message that's being put out there because all of their salaries depend on maintaining the contact and connection with the studios. Penske owns them all, is working in conjunction with the studios. It's a cabal. You're not going to get a lot of honesty. I don't care how much you respect those writers. You're not going to get a lot of honesty. And none of those writers want to lose a 6-figure salary because they started telling the truth all of a sudden. Fantastic says, supporting my dudes, the hot mic. Jim Carrey as Clayface could have saved you so much money in CGI. And Glenn Powell as Bruce Wayne works for me. I don't see Glenn as a Bruce Wayne. He's too rugged to play Bruce Wayne. I don't see him as a Bruce Wayne.
No, I see him as a fucking, what's his name? Harvey Dent.
Harvey Dent. That makes sense. Yeah. Doug Developer says, what's up, Doug? Good to see you. Saw The Brutalist last night and loved it, though critics have called it, quote, self-indulgent. What is the first film that comes to your mind when you think of self-indulgent and pretentious? Jeff?
It is the tree of life, and nothing will attach to it, and all of its supporters are unhappy.
Oh, I can't say. I'm going to get in trouble.
Why?
I don't know.
What the fuck? You can't name a pretentious movie? Who's going to get you in trouble? Say it right now. Say it. Say it.
I thought Fableman's was self-indulgent and pretentious.
That's totally fine. Well, you think I'm going to call you an anti-Semite because you like a Spielberg movie?
I love Spielberg. I'm not gonna. Oh,
this is what I'm talking. We got people. Even Johnny Rocha is second guessing what he can say on his own podcast. That's the climate that you guys have created.
No, because I love Steven and I don't want to, I don't want to bash him. I love Steven. So
you were afraid to because you were afraid of being called an anti-Semite?
No, because I don't want this to end up in his hands, and you don't want to cross Steven. So you
don't want this to get. You think this is going to get back to Steven Spielberg?
Who is this clown? How dare he? Oh, and I'll throw another one in there, and I don't have a problem saying this. I thought Dogma was fucking self-indulgent. Dogma was a big DUH for 2 hours. Like, oh, look what I discovered. Duh. Like everything he brought up was a duh.
Sit through the movie with the Nazi sausages that go up people's asses that Kevin Smith made, and then we'll talk about Dogma being a bad movie.
Doug Developer, if Brody wins, he is this generation's male version of Hilary Swank. 2 leading Oscars don't always guarantee superstardom, as you guys already know. Well, he's also an unusual actor, right, in terms of appearance and energy. So he's not like a standard Tom Hanks type of actor. So he's a little more difficult to cast. But what do you think, Jeff?
What's the question?
If Brody wins, Adrian Brody, is he this generation's male version of Hilary Swank? 2 leading Oscars.
Yeah, I think that's an apt comparison.
Yeah. Kirby Crackle, since Jeremy Allen White passed on Sergeant Rock, is there anyone you hear they're offering to now, or is there any crumb at all you have on DC? Thanks, Jeff and John.
I just heard that they found another guy. I don't know who it is, but I think that they're already on to the next person.
Gotcha. Wayne Edwards says, this is just my opinion. I feel like the comic book genre is at an inflection point due to real-world issues we all see and the movie industry being in a true flux. I don't feel like it's going to survive in its current form. Am I crazy?
In its current form? I mean, let's hope it doesn't survive in its current form because shit's fucked up right now.
Yeah, I agree.
I think there's a big correction coming. I think.
Yeah.
The 70s were.
Nope. Tell me to give you 5 minutes. You'll be done in 5 minutes. Okay. Brooklyn support. Thank you, Brooklyn. 34 Virgo says, your thoughts on the He-Man cast and potential? I have no potential for that. Jeff, what are your thoughts on the He-Man cast?
He-Man cast? They've already announced like 30,000 people in that Masters of the Universe movie. Not one of them makes me want to see it.
I agree. Sadly, I agree. Neither do the pictures. Kyle Fielder, is Roadhouse 2 filming this year? Roadhouse. Jeff.
Don't get that vibe. No.
Yeah.
Who's directing it?
Yeah. Sahit Takai, if the coming Jurassic isn't good, what's its future? It won't be good. What is its future, Jeff?
Yeah. I have no idea, but I think that thing's going to need a complete rehaul, top to bottom.
They're going to keep doing it. I mean, look at Predator and Terminator.
I don't think this one's going to do very well.
Yeah, I don't either. Josh Vaskovich, what needs to change to give the Oscars relevance they once had? No, they're never going to have the relevance they once had. It's never going to happen. What do you think, Jim?
Yeah, they screwed the pooch, basically.
Yeah, it's never. It's times have changed. The tastes have changed. Rashad Green says, in the spirit of Black History Month, can you name 3 positive black male characters that young black men can look up to? No DC or Marvel characters. That's not Furious.
Imagine if we actually started naming DC and Marvel characters. If someone was like, "Hey, I need a great black man to look up to," and I was like, "T'Challa," like what? What?
I would say Furious Styles in Boys in the Hood. His dad. I think that's a good one. What else you got here, Jeff? Malcolm X, right? What about Axel Foley? Could you look up to Axel Foley?
This is a dumb game.
Roger Murtaugh. There you go, from Lethal Weapon. Chris A., I don't know if y'all were asked this yet, but thoughts on some Daredevil episodes being around 30 minutes? Well, look, it's a long season. I don't mind a 30-minute one.
This person is asking me if I have thoughts on an episode of television being the length of an episode of television. I have no thoughts. 30 minutes sounds just fine for me.
Yeah. I just got the screeners. I will be diving into them tomorrow.
Woo, look at you. Fancy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. There'll definitely be reactions on the channel. 34 Virgo. Any truth to Kevin Feige leaving in 5 to 10 years? Probably less.
Yeah, I don't think he's making it 5 years.
Yeah. Oh, let me throw in Virgil Tibbs from Sidney Putty from In the Heat of the Night. That's a good character, black character to look up to. DUI champ. Kevin Feige did a 3-hour Star Trek podcast not that long ago talking about Star Trek 3. Wow. It's longer than the movie.
Yikes. Yeah, again, like I said, maybe Ellison will bring him in to oversee a Star Trek universe.
Yeah, that'd be smart. Kyle Fielder says here, 3 super chats from last week still haven't read. Kyle, I read them last week. I read them almost at the beginning of the super chats. Did you miss that?
Kyle's keeping track, okay?
Kyle, yeah, put it in the regular chat. Put it in the regular chat.
Relax, buddy.
Haunted_Autumn says, speaking of sausages going up people's asses, still can't believe 2016 gave us 2 films with sentient sausages, Sausage Party and Yoga Hosers. What the F?
The true Armageddon Deep Impact of its day.
Ewok says, who do you think gave the best Oscar-winning performance of the past decade? I'd go with Casey Affleck in Manchester by the Sea.
Ditto. Not even a contest.
Dude, I love him in that movie, man. I tell you what, I'd have to think about it because I really love
great performances.
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah. That's a tough one. I'd have to think about that one for a while. All right. Kyle, I read yours last week, so I don't know where you think you're missing
Read it again, motherfucker.
Let me see if I can find them again. I don't know where they're at. I had them on the back and forth here. I read them all. I don't know what he's talking about.
Just text me because John doesn't know how to work a computer.
Yeah, I'm the one that doesn't know how to work a computer. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I mean, if you put them in the chat, I'll read them, brother. But I don't see them here, so I don't know what you mean. So I'm sorry about that.
Kyle demands answers, John.
Yeah, Kyle, send them in. I will read them next week. I promise. All right. Thank you all so much. We got to get out of here. Hit that 2-hour mark just barely, so we got to go. Thanks everybody for the Streamlabs. Thanks for Super Chat. Thanks for the lively chat as we were doing the show. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, guys. I'm trying to get to 40,000. We get more than 10, 15, 16, sometimes 20,000 to watch. You all, I know you all are not subscribed to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel and hit that bell button. Jeff, oh no, we lost Jeff. Can you say anything, Jeff? Where can they find you? Where can they read your stuff?
I'm here. You can find me on scammer.com, theinsnider.com. Jamila girl!
There you go.
That was one of the things Kyle wanted me to say.
Oh, there you go. Kyle, thank you. Coach Boone.
Anyways,
is Kyle the one that sent that letter with those questions? Is that the Kyle, the same guy, or is it a different guy?
No, different person.
Okay.
All right. That'll do it for me.
All right, that'll do. Thank you all so much. Take care of yourselves. Be well, and we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode here of the Hot Mic. Peace.